Throughout most of its history, the main way to get in and out of the tower was by the River Thames. For princes and prisoners, it was the perfect way to dodge the crowds and traffic of the London streets.
Behind me, now blocked in, is the archway, which gave direct access from the river into the tower, which was effectively the front door to the fortress for many centuries. Consequently, a large number of the people who came here would have first come into the tower through this archway. And this has led to an association between some of the tower's most famous prisoners and this gateway, and consequently it has acquired the name Traitor's Gate.
The most famous prisoner associated with the Traitor's Gate is Princess Elizabeth. She would later become Queen Elizabeth I. But when she arrived here at the tower in 1554, her life was in extreme peril. Princess Elizabeth was implicated in a Protestant uprising, and the Catholic Queen, Maria Tudor, her half-sister, had ordered her arrest and imprisonment in the tower.
I think we can only imagine that she must have been absolutely terrified. Her mother, Anne Boleyn, had come to the tower accused of treason when she was not much older than Elizabeth and had never left, had been beheaded here. And for Elizabeth, everything did look extremely bleak at this time, and I think it must have been just about the most scary journey that she would ever make, that trip from Whitehall to the tower.
Desperate to clear her name of treason, Elizabeth had already written to beg her sister Mary for mercy.
I've got in front of me here the actual letter that Elizabeth wrote to Mary on the eve of her arrival at the tower, trying to convince the Queen that she, Elizabeth, hadn't been involved in this plot against her. And it's written in the very, very distinctive handwriting, which is characteristic of Elizabeth, very, very clear, very beautiful script. And in the letter she explains to Mary that she knew nothing about the plot, that she wasn't involved, that she's been much maligned by people who said that she was involved. And then, if we turn it over here, carries on over leaf. She finishes sort of making her case, if you like, here. And then at the bottom she says, "I humbly crave but only one word of answer from yourself." So she's saying, all I need is just one word from you to stop this arrest happening, to hear my pleas for clemency from you. And then she signs off here, again making her statement of her own faithfulness and loyalty to the Queen very clearly. She says, "Your Highness's most faithful subject that hath been from the beginning and will be to my end, Elizabeth." So this is a really, really strong statement of her own loyalty to the Queen. She sends this to Mary. Mary gets it, reads it, but refuses to do anything. And so the following day, regardless of this attempt to prevent it happening, Elizabeth is taken to the Tower of London. It delays her arrival by 24 hours because the tide turns, but it doesn't stop the end result, which is her arrival as a prisoner accused of treason at the Tower of London.
Like her mother, Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth arrived at the tower by boat, knowing that she might never leave it alive. Popular history has it that the princess came into the tower through its most notorious entrance. But this romantic notion is not based on historic fact.
In the instance of Elizabeth, it's long been said that she arrived by Traitor's Gate, and it was here that she disembarked. But interestingly, in her case, there's actually a contemporary description of her arrival that specifically says that she came in at the drawbridge.
There was no drawbridge at Traitor's Gate, but on this Tudor plan, it's clear that there was one further down on the wharf. That makes these steps, rather than Traitor's Gate, the far more likely landing site of Princess Elizabeth.
What she probably would have done would be to disembark at the wharf and then cross over the moat over the little drawbridge that was in the position of this bridge. And then she would have gone into the tower through this doorway, which is called the Byward Postern, and that means that it is essentially a back door, if you like, to the Tower of London. So despite the fact that she was accused of treason, and so, as the legend or the myth goes, would have been brought in by Traitor's Gate, in this particular instance, we know pretty much for sure that she in fact comes in on this little footbridge here behind me.